Special thank you to my patrons for helping make this video happen. It's September 7th, 2013, and Michigan is hosting rival Notre Dame in a marquee top 20 matchup. In the middle of an eventual 40-31 win for the Wolverines, the voice of Carl Grappentine, Michigan's play-by-play announcer, would read off a number of scores from across the nation. Most get zero fanfare. Some get a couple sarcastic remarks and a few who cares. But two scores get the immediate attention of all packed into the big house. Made apparent by both the course of boos that followed Ohio State's 42-7 win over San Diego State, and the unbridled joy that surrounded Slippery Rock's 51-36 victory over Northwood University. It's 1936, and college football sports writers are attempting to solve one of the poll era's first national champion controversies. On one end is the new AP poll, alongside other big voters of the day like the Dickinson and Lichtenhouse systems, who backed the Minnesota Golden Gophers as their national champions. All while other major voters like the Bowen system favored the Pittsburgh Panthers. Both had only a single loss, both had similar strength of records, they beat both of their mutual opponents, and since the sport was over 60 years away from even attempting a bona fide national championship game, there was no way to determine a clear champion. So, sports writers did what they do best and bickered amongst one another, playing in the era's own kind of national championship, held in the offices of the New York Times, Chicago Tribune, and every other major newspaper the nation over. From the absurdity of this debate came a story that'd be passed around in a number of newspapers, one that claimed that since Minnesota lost to Northwestern, who lost to Notre Dame, who lost to Pittsburgh, who lost to Duquesne, who lost to West Virginia Wesleyan, who lost to Slippery Rock, the Slippery Rock Rockets were 1936's rightful national champions. Slippery Rock is a tiny college in western Pennsylvania, and throughout the 1930s it became a sort of inside joke among northeastern sports journalists, due to both its size and humorous name. Among the Rock's disciples was the Boston Herald's Bill Cunningham, who'd often sneak references and scores relating to the obscure former teachers' college into his columns. This half-ironic fascination with the Rockets would only intensify with their tongue-in-cheek claim to the 1936 national title, prompting Cunningham to convince the local Boston Terriers to schedule Slippery Rock the following season, eventually facing off in Fenway Park in front of 10,000 curious spectators. The Rockets would end up losing 20-0, but its widespread coverage would only reinforce Slippery Rock's place as America's favorite small college team. In the fall of 1959, Michigan's public address announcer Stephen Filipiak would give his mid-game update on scores across the Big Ten, standard practice for Wolverine home games. In the middle of this particular update, though, the voice of Michigan football would be reminded of a moment he had as a child growing up in Indiana, remembering the name of a funny-sounding college just east of him. A memory that prompted the now 42-year-old Filipiak to go off script and announce, with much enthusiasm, the score of that day's Slippery Rock game. The tens of thousands in attendance would share in his enthusiasm, finding in the Rockets the same joyous whimsy Filipiak found growing up in Indiana, the same whimsy Bill Cunningham found in Boston. And soon the tradition would spread to the rest of the country. From Virginia to Texas, Oklahoma to Stanford, announcers in nearly all of college football's most hallowed grounds would contribute to the little inside joke, announcing scores of the tiny northeastern school to enthusiastic crowds of fans unsure whether or not Slippery Rock even existed. Just as Rock fever gripped the nation, the team would earn a game in college football's most iconic venue, the Rose Bowl. Not for the Rose Bowl, mind you. Slippery Rock was a Division II school, but to play the eventual Division II champions Cal State Los Angeles. Having gone 8-0 with dominant wins over the likes of Hawaii, San Diego State, and Fresno State, the Diablos had invited the Rockets for a rare cross-country matchup, the first game Slippery Rock would play west of the Mississippi. Predictably, Slippery Rock would lose, quite badly in fact, but like their game in Fenway, it hardly mattered as the matchup only grew national intrigue for the strange little team, especially in their second home of Ann Arbor. On September 29, 1979, the Michigan Wolverines were scheduled to take a trip to Berkeley to take on the California Golden Bears, leaving their home field unoccupied. That is, until Michigan's athletic director hatched a plan to invite Slippery Rock to play in the Big House, bringing with them their rival, the Shippensburg Raiders, and thousands of local high school musicians for band day, helping fill out the 90,000 capacity stadium. A capacity 30 times larger than the population of Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania, mind you. The curious exhibition game would end up not only being played, but become a massive success as over 61,000 packed into the Big House to watch the Rockets play. To this day, the largest crowd to ever watch a Division II college football game. To show their appreciation, Slippery Rock would break out alternate maize pants to both match their host and avoid a resemblance to Michigan State. As with Slippery Rock's other big exhibition games, they would lose. But like their other big exhibition games, it hardly mattered. They would return to the Big House on 2 other occasions, the most recent return being in 2014, each hosting tens of thousands and each building upon the legend of this small university. In the middle of Slippery Rock's 2 trips to Ann Arbor, the team would take a few detours down to Florida. Their very first games in the Sunshine State in 1990, 1998, and 2001. Their first would be in the storied Citrus Bowl to take on Division I AA's newest team, the UCF Golden Knights, where they would put up a valiant effort in a 21-24 loss. Their second came in Tampa, facing off against the newly founded South Florida Bulls in their first game in the old Tampa Stadium. Their final notable excursion would come in Miami, playing in Florida Atlantic's first ever football game, and for once, Slippery Rock would actually come out on top, beating the Owls 40-7. Eventually, the crop of announcers that bought into this nationwide inside joke in the 50s and 60s began to retire, and Slippery Rock's scores began to slowly leave every single stadium they had once inhabited. All except Michigan Stadium, where the scores are still read out to this day. The same fanfare that began this craze all the way back in the 30s.
Slippery Rock, 54. Cheney University, nothing.
Slippery Rock today, now simply the Rock instead of the Rockets, is in many ways the same weird little school it has always been. Still wearing green and white, still playing fellow Pennsylvania oddballs like the Edinburgh Fighting Scots, the Indiana University of Pennsylvania Crimson Hawks, and the California Vulcans, that is, California of Pennsylvania, mind you. But most importantly, they still have a funny-sounding name and a home in Ann Arbor. I'd like to, again, thank my patrons, Colin Northrup, Zach, Sock, Ryan Brandenburg, Aura, Jake Hagman, Shane Bailey, Mantis Toboggan, Captain Coey, The King of War 541, William L. Jagnow, Aiden Wong, Yeah Avenue, Ryan Liu, Authentic Sims, Joe Sports 2022, Lance Justice, Class Jackson Lawsuit, Hoppe, October Rust 02, Justin Pedraza, Cole, Nick Knudsen, Lurker, Trashcan Gus, Ease.L, Spicy Bape, The Erupturotan, Adrian Genge, Deatheros, Sean McWilliams, CC, The Hidden Source, Bradley Moore, at Signwood, Scarface 1, Mega Doomer, Philip, and Crosley Jones. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see y'all in the next video.